Hello and welcome to Family DynamiKs. It's Katherine.
And Liz.
And Ed. And John.
So I wanted to talk about, we could talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, but I am in a very summery, weird mode.
I know you're not wearing black.
I know. I am wearing a very hippie-ish shirt.
I thought I would have, contrasts. I'm wearing a flowery shirt today, and I walk in and you're wearing one. When you always wear a black t-shirt.
Well, black or at least like a solid color V-neck. That is one of my moves.
90% of the time it's black and you're blending in with the background.
Well, that's true.
You're coming in from your nurse shift, so yeah.
She does look kind of maybe more like a consultant. They're going to come in and talk about your health insurance.
What?
Or give you a massage. Like physical therapy. That's what I get.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
Well, I do have a very hippie side to me, which doesn't always...
What do you mean? Could you define hippie? Because my definition, you are not hippie in the sense you don't live out of a van, you don't live in San Francisco, you're not going to Grateful Dead concerts.
That's also all true.
So
I would add that if you get a delivery of a box and it contains just shirts like those, I think more than 20, that might qualify you.
Mine is not hippie at all. Mine's boho chic.
Yeah, hers is more boho.
Those are the same.
No, they are not. I worked in adjacent to the fashion industry for quite a few years. And no, hippie is a totally separate category. So how are you defining hippie?
I guess stylistically it is more boho vibe, which is sort of what Liz is wearing. Although mine is a little more, I don't know, like...
A black t-shirt is not hippie.
No, not at all. Not at all. And that is my other thing that I do.
You'd rarely wear a shawl or a hat or fringe.
Okay.
Or
fringe
beaded shirts or...
I guess all this is true.
A lot of suede.
Okay, so there's a lot of hippie food things that I do, which I feel like... Well,
what are those?
Okay, I do need to say I'm a teeny bit over-caffeinated because I accidentally made a very strong coffee this morning and I'm still kind of feeling it.
Really?
Yeah, I definitely feel a little bit, not jittery, but like chattery, a little bit more than normal. Like,
haven't you been doing decaf more frequently?
Yes, but then I've been so tired that I was like, I guess I'm going back on caffeine. But then this morning I wanted to make a cold beverage because it's very, very hot out. And I had like this thing from Trader Joe's that was like cold brew, whatever. And I didn't know how much to use. And I used way too much. I'm like, I guess maybe I should have measured or something, but I didn't. And immediately I was like, oh my God, I'm talking so fast and I'm a little bit sweaty. And that might have been too strong. Okay. It is very funny because of the four of us, I do caffeine more than anybody, right? You guys don't even do it at all, do you?
I do it more than I used to.
You're a little more inconsistent than me. Now that I'm back on caffeine. But Liz, you don't do it at all, really.
No,
and Ed, you don't.
I used to drink coffee and tea, but it wasn't like I needed it. But I also found out 20 years ago when I was working a crazy early morning news shift, by the third cup of coffee, it's a diuretic, so you got to drink a lot of water if you're going to be drinking that much coffee at the start of the day. And then by the end of the day being like 8 p.m., because I had to get up crazy early, I was particularly not nice. I was like burnt out on caffeine. So I've managed to get myself almost completely off of it. And then occasionally I'll have a Coke and I'll be like, why am I still up? It's 3 a.m. Oh.
I honestly, there's been a couple times where we've had pizza at night and you have Coke and I'm like, what is his plan? I don't...
Do you drink for soda? Do you drink like usually Sprite or something non-caffeinated? Is that your move?
Yes. That was just how I grew up, separate from how you guys grew up.
Yeah, there was no soda us growing up.
Yeah. But then I just pay attention a little bit of, okay, well, if I'm going to have a soda, should it have caffeine or not?
Yeah.
Just referencing what you just said. Growing up, there was no caffeine, very little sugar in our household. So artificial energy was not something happening in our household. I had a girlfriend growing up that her parents were realtors, and they had, because they would do open houses and bring beverages, they had an outside refrigerator all stocked with sodas. But the only thing is, with my little unused to carbonation belly, I could usually get through like half of a Coca-Cola.
Oh.
But they were the type of parents, if they found a soda can that was like half full, it was back in like the 70s and 80s, they were still going to yell at you, even though you weren't their child. You know, it was like, don't waste the sodas, who didn't finish finish this? And you're going, oh my God. So then like you're
The pressure.
going to the bathroom, dumping it down the toilet or something. You're like, I'm gonna get in trouble. Oh my God. Because we never, or we weren't even encouraged with our own money to go buy soda. Like, it was like, you have lemonade, which is probably the same amount of sugar, lemonade or fruit punch, but I went away to school for college, and coffee was just one of those things you went out and did and talked and studied. And I remember being like, wow, this is not reacting with me well. And then about a year after that, I got diagnosed with a heart condition. So let's just say some of the adrenalizing elements of the 80s, including caffeine, I could no longer partake in. Like there was no more.
At first I was like, adrenalizing? What are we referring to?
Lines. No. I mean, cocaine. No. There's the 80s. Like, it was kind of around. It was a party favor. But I really couldn't partake because I don't know if my heart was going to explode. I don't know what was going to happen. But something that made my heart beat faster, not a good idea.
Yeah.
So I stopped drinking caffeine then. But in the early days of Starbucks, when they would, like, what do you want your drink order to? And they would yell it. They wouldn't write on the cup. And someone would be like, they were like mad geniuses. You're like, how are they remembering all this? And they're remembering my name. So they weren't half the time. So I got a couple drinks that should have been like, I want a vanilla latte decaf with an extra pump of this, whipped cream, blah, blah, blah. Now it might have been just the sugar. But I swear there was actually regular caffeine in there.
Yeah.
And I'd be amped. It would be like you had given me meth. I was out of my goddamn gourd. That happened one time. Our brother James, we were visiting him in Atlanta, Mom and I, and he went to go get a Starbucks. And like Starbucks was kind of a new thing. It's like, I'm going to go get everybody Starbucks. What a treat. And it was also the early Starbucks where what you were getting there were the fancy drinks. People were not really getting
not just
straight
coffee.
It was like, I want a blended mocha. I want a hot mocha, all this type of stuff. So he brings it back. I drink it. Our mother said she just remembers me bouncing on the bed with the girls, like, keep up with Aunt Liz, you 4-year-old, you slow fucker, keep up. Like, I was out of my mind. And then it was like, we went to go to the museum. They're like, no, Aunt Liz is like dead, like out of it. So I now really avoid anything that has caffeine in it because I think my body's just so not used to it. But you got to be careful because these places like, yeah, we have a decaf, no problem.
Easy peasy.
But I worked in a restaurant where, I'm not going to name it, but the owner never bought the espresso decaf beans.
Oh, no.
And he just said, it's fine. It's fine. It's espresso. It's Italian. We won't hurt nobody. But if people are coming in having dinner and they want to end their night with like a decaf espresso, you're like, I cannot in good conscience be like,
sure,
have regular and be up till 3 or 4 in the morning. Like no, I'm like, I know we're out of it. And he'd be like, oh, I'm gonna get you.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm like, I go, how about it be a soda? I mean, why don't you have that? I was like, I'm like, this one a heart attack.
I feel like we are about to enter the era of suing your barista for over caffeinating me.
Yeah.
I'm over caffeinated. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Well, I almost did that time. It was their fault. I got a regular, I think. I don't know. But when we got here to record the podcast, I was lagging. So you know what I had? I have not had it in years. A Snickers, like a little snack-sized Snickers. Now, the old saying, the fun size is bullshit. It was. It didn't completely sasatisfy me. It wasn't
Not
that
as fun as a big one. Yeah.
It's only fun at Halloween
Wait, what
time.
are we talking about?
We're talking about Snickers candy bars, Ed.
Okay.
Yeah. Watch yourself.
But actually, that does...
You don't like the fun size, Liz?
What woman does? I mean, my God. I also don't need, the mega. I mean, just, the normal size.
Regular size is perfect, everyone.
And I also think the fun size got created because of Halloween. You're eating multiple, so the large scale got... Ed, stop looking at me like that. Anyways... I had a fun size Snicker, and I was like, damn, this is really good.
Oh, it's a really good candy bar.
And somehow I kept myself to just one.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah. So that gave me a little false, unlike your caffeine high, this is giving me a little bit of a false sugar high.
Well, I will say, I have recently become aware that it is an ADHD thing that people with ADHD do not react to caffeine. So it is a confirmation that do not have ADHD because caffeine absolutely spins me up.
Okay, wait a minute. Then there are people in our life, including our father, who would have caffeine, cups of coffee. All the time.
Yeah.
And he encouraged having 8 children. Are we diagnosing dad right here and
We
now?
could be. We could be.
And he had multiple jobs.
It is a very interesting
Oh,
thing.
my God.
Mm-hmm.
You guys,
No.
Yeah. Well, I will say
With age,
also.
it would calm down.
ADHD. Oh.
Whoa. Because for sure, when John has caffeine, it is so funny and noticeable.
Yes.
Oh my God. He comes in, like he'll be visiting us to watch TV or whatever, and he'll come over and be like, hi, and I have 5,000 stories to tell you and things to talk about. And you're like, oh, this is John has had caffeine.
It's 30% of that, but that's still a big difference.
Yeah, it's interesting.
This is why I really go for like the quarter cup, sometimes the
quarter
eighth
cup.
cup of coffee. It's good.
Well, listen, because we work together very often during the week, there is the most interesting combination of drinks happening. But I cannot say anything because I usually have at least 2 beverages going, if not 3.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sure.
And I have found that in the tea category, I can handle caffeine. So green tea.
Yeah, green tea you're okay with.
I really do like a chai, and I don't really worry about the caffeine in that. I don't. So it's more the coffee bean.
Yeah, it's the amount in coffee, and probably there's something different about it. What?
I remember I was in Spain, and you have your late to lunch, and you maybe have paella with your big group of people, or like it's a big, fresca lunch. And we weren't staying on the boat, but we had a friend's boat docked sort of in the harbor. So during the day, we'd be on the boat and maybe take it out to another island. So we docked and went into the shore on a little jetty that took us back and forth to the boat.
I think it was a dinghy. A jetty is, kind of
Oh,
like a
jetty
pier.
Thank
is
you.
the
Okay.
the actual thing that sticks out, like almost like a dock or whatever.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, so a dinghy. They're like a little shuttle back and forth to the shore because you can't get your larger boats close to the shore.
Was this a
Because we were
yacht?
swimming.
What is this situation?
It wasn't really that. It was
I
a big
don't-
sailboat. No, it was not a yacht. It was a big
Okay,
sailboat.
all right.
And-
Already this is sounding so fancy.
I thought you guys swam a couple times.
Way to blow the story, John.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But here's the deal. So I take the jetty there, but now I've had lunch. I should be too full to want to come back. And there's something called a Mikado, I think it's called. It's like their version of a shot of espresso, but they put a little splash of cream in it and 1 sugar cube in it. Like I think it's like a raw sugar cube. Mm-hmm. And the same type of thing. Like, no, it's not like your American coffee. No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll do the shot of this, whatever this
Mikado or what do you call
Mikado,
it? Yeah.
your Spanish version of an espresso. Boom, like I'm gonna swim back to the boat. So me and 3 people I walked on water. I was like, I was so fast. It was so ridiculous. I'm gonna go back to the shore and come back again. Like it was like maybe this isn't the best idea. I'm like, so once again, it was like a life check of like, yeah, I
Don't do
really
that.
don't think caffeine's your jam, girl. Like you need to be careful. So
Well, you probably don't have ADHD then. So we have diagnosed you right in this moment as well.
I don't think I did. Well, do I? I've been with 2 friends recently. They've told me they've been diagnosed with either autism or ADHD like much later in life.
That
And
is a
explain-
phenomenon
and
that is
explains
happening
a
so
lot
much.
of their behavior for themselves, or what went wrong or right in their lives.
It can be very helpful for
Right.
self-awareness and for regulating, and it's
Yeah.
kind of an amazing thing that's
And
happening.
now I'm going to call them up and be like, "How do you react to caffeine? Let's use that as a barometer."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm high on a fun-sized Snicker.
And I'm a little bit overamped on cold brew coffee.
Because it is like 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Because it is summer, and you were saying your hippie
Okay, so back to my hippie stuff.
lifestyle, summer lifestyle.
Right. Even this coffee. So my coffee in the morning, whether it's regular or decaf, I like to put a scoop of collagen peptides in there,
Yeah.
which is kind of becoming more normal, but also a scoop of lion's mane mushroom powder.
Okay, that's.
A little bit hippie-ish, right? I'm assuming this is not.
I think a
super
hippie
normal-
would have picked it from his garden, brewed the cup of tea
if
himself.
I could get away with it, I would grow it, but I don't know where I would grow it. And Eric, my husband, might be kind of annoyed.
Okay.
So I'm doing just the dried powder.
Got it.
And then I also do MCT oil in it, like a tablespoon of MCT oil, because it's really good for your brain. I think. I'm not sure.
Where are you getting that, Trader Joe's?
That I used to get from Sprouts Market, but then I ordered a 6-pack of the most giant bottles
Well, then
of
just give me
organic
one. Let me just
empty-
try
yeah.
it.
Yeah, sure.
I get smarter, then I'll buy my own.
Yeah, I think it's kind of amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So now this is
That's my
your
coffee. This is my coffee. And then I do a smoothie that has organic green tea in it, also the mushroom and the collagen peptide, and then a whole bunch of organic greens in it, so super greens in that, so that feels kind of hippie. I make
Are you listening to the Grateful Dead while you make this? 'Cause
No.
No. All right.
She's
well,
right that I'm not
It's more
actually
naturalistic and than hippie.
Yeah.
And
But
I think
isn't
that's,
that part of the hippie?
It feels that way.
We haven't gotten to some of the real.
Why? What are
I'm
we?
just saying there are
More
weirder
hippie?
things coming up in your story.
Okay, well.
Also, if you want to walk back what the smoothie used to be, because powders plus super greens is like, okay, is that normal? You used to have a good smoothie that you would ruin with super greens. But, whatever.
Because now, like, you can't, smoothies have become completely like capitalism. I mean, you have a smoothie place or a juice place on every corner where, yes, maybe in the origin days, a juice place would have been kind of considered granola-ish or hippie-ish or
well, if they
alternative
did like
lifestyle.
wheatgrass shots, that felt very.
Oh my God, have you ever
hippie-ish.
done one?
No,
I
I'm
did
scared.
one once. And
But
they-
now I'm thinking about spirulina.
They go
Do
like
I
this,
need to add spirulina to things?
They cut it. They gave it to me. I was like, thank you. I feel so healthy. Watch out for my smoothie. I took one turn to my car and I was like,
Oh, did you actually throw up?
yes.
You have a very precarious stomach. You can't be just throwing weird shit in there.
Yeah, it didn't work for me to do a whole shot of it. No.
No.
Obviously, Ethan should try that.
I don't think I'd subject anybody to that at this point. If it's your own jam, I actually have had little shots like that since I've been fine. I don't know if it was like that batch of little green grass was just bad. I don't know what it was. My body was like, hell no, out immediately.
Not now. Yeah.
No. Okay, so
Well, also,
I
are
feel
you-
like
yeah.
unfortunately capitalism has adapted some of this hippie mentality. So I don't think you can say hippie. What, John?
Don't judge too early. We got
Okay,
a
now
long
get
way to
into
go.
more. I need,
Okay,
because right
so-
now you're not making it. You're not getting
What?
it.
Okay, so
You have to
I
find a new title for you.
homemade goat yogurt. Is that hippie-ish?
Yes.
That feels pretty hippie-ish.
Goat too.
Yeah, well, I don't
But
like
it's not
to do.
like you
yeah.
milked the goat.
No, that's
You
true.
bu-
I
it's
don't-
like
she
Trader
didn't own the
Joe's
goat.
milk that she, hand cranked. Oh, I'm not
How
doing
many
that.
people do you know that are making
Oh my God,
yogurt?
Ed! Sorry, go ahead, John.
I was just asking how many people anyone knows who makes yogurt.
Our mother back in like the day at
It
one
was
point.
Dad, actually. Dad made yogurt. I don't know where I got it from
Wasn't it
other than
plain
him, but
flavor too?
yeah, of course. And then I usually
Oh.
add stevia to sweeten it,
Okay.
and then raspberries. And then I do a mix of sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds on the top for crunch. I mean, obviously,
That
this is
sounds
perfect.
delicious.
It is kind of.
Still in this health world driven TikTok recipe world. No. This has now been taken from the hippies. It's now become completely mainstream.
Except that none of you are doing it. Okay, but keep going. We're not done yet.
Okay, so
Okay.
I think the last thing, and then John can correct me if this is wrong, is my chia seed pudding that I make. So I make a chocolate version that I do on the stovetop, which is a little bit, more advanced than just the regular refrigerator one that you see on social media a lot, which is just like throw the ingredients in and stick it in the refrigerator and magically it turns into pudding. Mine is you put it on the stove, it's organic coconut beverage. You're not supposed to say milk, I guess, whatever, because the milk community gets all mad. I don't know. So it's organic coconut beverage.
Juice.
Okay.
Juice,
Okay.
water, I don't
Coconut
know,
juice.
whatever.
Extract.
Extra. And then I now had to buy a scale so that it could be the perfect amount because I did figure out the perfect recipe. So it's organic cocoa powder, organic chia seeds, stevia, and salt, like an unprocessed salt. And then I heat it and then I let it cool and then it congeals into a glutinous gloppy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Gluten would be wheat related, which I don't really eat wheat related products. So I don't.
Hippies make their own bread, so
I
that's
know.
another strike
I really
against you.
should. I should be making my own bread, but I don't. I mean, not yet. I should get on it. So yeah.
That's
so it's
the yeast you can do.
that's. Oh
That was
my
good, Ed.
God!
That was
Good.
good.
That was good. So the chocolate chia seed pudding I find very delicious, and then today
The way you say that, does nobody else find it delicious?
no one else in my family will eat it or even like try it. Wait, John, you've tried it.
I've tried it. It's not the worst thing ever.
It's weird, and people don't like it because it's
Did you put
texturally kinda
Nutella on top
crunchy.
of it, John?
No.
That saves everything for John.
Yeah, John.
does.
Yeah. And then I used to do a vanilla cinnamon one, which was not great, even for my standards. So I stopped doing that one. But then just yesterday, And then I tested it this morning. I made a raspberry one, which almost sort of worked, but I might have to tweak it a little bit. This is one of the things that John likes to make fun of me, because I will do all my experiments and come up with the perfect recipe, but then constantly keep tweaking it. It was very funny because Sarah, my daughter, was sitting on the couch and I was like reading through notes. I keep notes on my phone of all of my experiments, and I'm reading my document, my chia seed pudding document of all the different things that I have tried. And because I was trying to figure out what to do for this raspberry one, and I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, this sounds good. This sounds good. This sounds good. And then at the very bottom, it just says bad. I was like, oh, so that didn't work out, I guess.
Oh, jeez.
Which I told Sarah, and she found it very funny. She was kind of in a like low energy, grumpy mood, and this really perked her up. She was like, my mom doing silly things and then bad. She thought that was great.
All right. Yeah, but we have to find a new, like a
Hippie is not the
that
right.
does not define you. I
We're
don't think.
still not done.
No.
What's left?
Okay, what are the two other mixtures? Or, there's two different purposes.
Oh,
of
I
mixture.
forgot about those. Okay, I do my own electrolyte drink. Is that one of them, John?
Yeah, no, it's gross. Continue.
Okay, so that is organic lemon powder.
Lemon powder.
Yeah,
What happened to the frozen lemons?
I still do that for some things. I had to squeeze organic lemons, and then I transitioned that to like a juicer so that I only had to do it once a week. And I make like ice cubes, frozen cubes of lemon juice, I guess. And then I would do that. But that was kind of turning into a pain in the ass because I would buy the lemons and organic lemons last like a minute. So if you don't do it like that day, you're going to have to throw away 5 moldy lemons. It's very disheartening. So I transitioned to an organic lemon powder for the electrolyte drink. So that is organic lemon powder, salt, cream of tartar, which is basically potassium. And, there's one other, collagen. I think that might be it. Oh, and stevia to sweeten it. So, and of course I had to work out the exact ratio. And then I make those on Sundays. I make a bunch of little containers so they're ready to go for the week. And I try and do 2 a day. So
God, how regular are you, for God's sake?
it also has fiber in it. I forgot.
Oh
it has
my God. I mean,
selenium
all these
fiber in it.
beverages. I mean, the toot machine also.
No, it's great. It doesn't do that at all. It just keeps things like really regulated and moving. It's great for you. And it's great at slowing down the absorption of sugar. Having that fiber before you eat something.
This is like mad scientist. This is still not hippie-ish, John.
It's witchcraft. It's the modern witchcraft. She's got like the Half-Blood Prince's spell book
Potion
with all
book?
the extra
Yes.
notes in it.
You're a mixologist. I mean, I'm still like...
Yeah, but nothing that anybody else wants.
No. Okay, is there...
So what's the other powder?
So the other powder is my anti-inflammation shot that I do. And that typically is I take a coffee cup and I put a frozen lemon ice cube in it and I microwave that for 20 seconds. And then I add a little bit of water and then I do a scoop of turmeric, ginger, cayenne pepper. And there's one other thing in it, John. What is it? John is like ready to vomit
Terrible.
right now thinking about it.
Yeah, it's
and black pepper, because you need the
my
black pepper to
gosh.
activate the turmeric. So, but all of those are great anti-inflammatory. I forgot there's cinnamon also in the smoothie, which is another anti-inflammatory.
All these recipes will be available on our website.
They will not.
They would like to experiment with them.
The webmaster has said no.
The webmaster has rejected and doesn't want
We
anything
want
to
no
do with this.
liability for these wacko beverages.
Yeah, probably. That's a good move.
Are you doing these every single day, or is it got a weekends or this, weekdays or that?
I will do the smoothie almost every day. It's sort of like my breakfast.
Okay.
And a lot of times, I'd say 6 out of 7 days, I do the inflammation shot, the anti-inflammation shot.
Okay.
And coffee, decaf or regular, depending on how bad it is. Like if I'm working and I'm up in the early morning and I've only gotten 5 or 6 hours of sleep, which is not good. I do need to talk about that I had to put myself on a restriction for TikTok. Oh my God, I'm just so bad.
You're just scrolling.
Yeah, I mean, last night at like midnight, I was like, I'll just do 5 minutes, 1:15. I mean, like, what's wrong with me? That is too much just scrolling on TikTok.
But that's
so
very-
I put a block on it.
That's what we're
that I
typically
cannot-
doing.
I know, but it's weird. It's not right. I shouldn't be spending that much time on it. So I had to block myself. Let's see how that works out, but I don't know. So
Could you
anyway,
just unblock yourself?
yeah, you put like a screen time blocker thing on it. So I limited myself to 10 minutes. Let's see if that works. But
That seems unrealistic.
extreme.
But
I say
morning I
0
woke up.
minutes.
Yeah, this morning I woke up and it said you've already used your 10 minutes, and I was like, how? I wasn't even awake.
Well, it was after midnight, so you did.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right. That is what it did. It was like you used it yesterday.
okay, so
You
the
have
reason
used the next 5 days, 10 minutes already.
Yeah.
Stop. Put your phone down.
Yeah.
See, the
Yeah.
reason why I'll go back to you're not a hippie
Okay.
is because you have no livestock at your house.
That's true.
You don't do your own eggs from your own chicken coop.
That's because I can't eat eggs. Otherwise, I really would love to have chickens.
Interesting.
I mean, Eric would hate
What about
it.
duck
but
eggs?
All eggs are not a good idea for me. Immune system wise, eggs
Ostrich
are,
eggs? You sure?
They're probably available
they're-
at Erewhon.
Yeah, they're super available. So just try
Erewhon
it.
has it for sure.
What are you talking about? Costco's got them. They're made in Costco size.
They're regular eggs
regular-
at Costco.
It's like one egg. Yeah, it's
Perfect.
an ostrich egg. 7 dozen.
That's why when Mark goes to Costco, he's like, I bought eggs. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like
Is it
2
like
dozen
24?
eggs. Yes. I'm like,
Oh my
how are we
God.
going through this? I'm not like a baker. I'm not like using a dozen eggs. Like,
No, you got to I guess, whip them and then freeze them in batches.
No, stop with your freezing all this stuff. That is, no.
You're a freezer. Whatever.
But like, not, oh my God.
Not eggs?
No. Oh, yikers, Lord preserve me.
Well, then what's it called if it's not hippie, all this weird stuff
Well,
that I'm
wait a minute.
doing?
All right, let's.
Is
we
that
also-
everything?
No.
Oh, shit.
Because historically,
Uh-huh.
what other things have you made?
I don't know.
Katherine?
This is like a quiz. I can't remember all the weird things that I've done.
So there's definitely a third thing I can't remember, but there's the candy, and then there's the
yeah.
chocolate.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So for a while, and this was actually part of Adam having autism and trying to remove all sugar so that, because I try not to eat a lot of sugar, but there was a time when he was off of gluten, dairy, and sugar, and I was making honey candy. So you would like heat honey to a certain candy point, and I have all the apparatus, the special thermometer and whatever, and then I would make lollipops so that he would have a treat.
So it would just be honey lollipop.
Honey lollipops, which was kind of a pain in the ass, but it was kind of cool that I could do it, but I don't do it anymore.
But it's just honey. You're not adding anything else. It's a temperature thing.
It was, yeah, I think so. I can't remember now, actually. It was honey, and like you could add like essence of lemon or orange to give it like a different little flavor or whatever. But it was like just honey candy, and if you heat it to a certain temperature, it will harden when it cools. I don't know.
Okay.
It was kind of cool. So I did that for a while.
That is a little hippie-ish, but that you're not doing anymore.
That's true, I'm not. And then I haven't done it in a little while, but
Wait,
it was...
did
What?
you have a beehive at your house? Beekeeper?
No, I would love
Nope,
to keep
then you're
bees.
not.
Okay.
No, you're not a hippie.
God, that would be so cool to keep bees.
Yes.
All right. So, and then the other thing that John is referring to is more recent, where again, not to have sugar, I wanted to make stevia sweetened chocolate. And there's not really an over the counter version that I wanted because they all have like erythritol in them or something.
There's over the counter everything. That's why she's a hippie, because you could just buy all this stuff.
But it's
Continue.
not exactly right. Okay, whatever.
What? So explain to people that don't know, what is stevia?
Stevia is a sweetener from a plant. So it is a non-caloric. The plant is in the same family as peppermint, but it comes in like a white powder. You know, Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, they all carry it now. It used to be that you could only get it in like a vitamin supplement kind of area because it was not actually considered a food because you know there's weird FDA rules and whatever, and they could only sell it as a supplement. So I used to have to go to really weird little out of the way places to get it, like I would say 20 years ago, and now it's just everywhere. But it's in other countries much more common to have stevia sweetened candy because it doesn't have any kind of diabetic, I believe. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but it's not a sugar, but it's a sweetener. So. And for me, it's been great because I like sweet things, but it doesn't affect me like sugar does. So
what's this homemade chocolate thing you're trying to make with
the
it?
homemade chocolate was I would take unsweetened chocolate and then you would melt that down and try and do it at the right temperature so that it would still be tempered, which means it would snap. And then I would sweeten it with stevia. And then also you need a little bit of salt, but I had some real bad experiments that were too much salt. And John tried one of those and it was very gross. So
Yeah, I mean, you had what, a 60% successful? That was maybe the highest we got.
I did make something recently that I actually had to throw away, which...
Well, no, there were many like terrible, terrible ones.
Well, in the chocolate, yes. That one didn't go great, and I never quite perfected it. Although I did keep all the notes. I would just have to scroll back, and I'm sure a lot of them would just say, bad.
No.
But I was going to say, recently I made coconut beverage yogurt, which was a real fiasco. That did not work at all.
Coconut beverage yogurt.
Yeah,
What is
instead of the
that?
goat yogurt, I was trying to make it with coconut milk. And it was very bad. I didn't do the right ratio or whatever. Because what you're doing is I have a yogurt starter, which I had to buy online because it's non-dairy and it's a very specific thing. And really all it is the microbe that you add to whatever the milk is that you're going to use. And it consumes all of the sugar and turns into a protein. Did you all want a scientific lesson
Well, I'm gonna
in
say,
making yogurt?
You're not a hippie, you're a food scientist. Amateur one. Because also if you go on TikTok now, mostly TikTok, obviously on Instagram, but very heavily on TikTok. If you had actually recorded these, Katherine, you'd be a billionaire now because these are like...
Is it too late? Can I do it now?
No, do it now. Because there's this whole... Obviously, the whole, recipe thing is huge on social media. But then these like very unique, odd elements, people watch, they'll never do it, but they're just fascinated that you're willing to do it. And so there's this one thing, and I think it originated by, I can't remember her name, and she might actually be in Africa. And so most times she did have to go and like, if she's going to make goat soup, it's like she's going to go kill the goat and bring it in. If she's going to make a chocolate, she's like breaking down the cocoa bean.
Oh,
It is
wow.
like from such a base of like my husband. It's always like my husband is craving a chocolate chip cookie. 2 days later, this fucker gets it because it is so much work.
Overly complicated.
So, there was this big scandal recently.
I'd like to serve my children an American classic breakfast, so I made cornflakes from scratch. And she's hucking
Wait.
corn and like making sheets. And you're like, whoa!
Recently, that has
actually
happened.
exists. That's so an American woman basically, I don't want to say ripped her off, but was inspired by her and has done a version, and she absolutely has made homemade marshmallows, homemade lollipops, homemade cornflakes, yogurt. Everything is from scratch. My kids were craving grilled cheese sandwiches. So I started to make the bread. I made the mozzarella cheese. I made the basil pesto. I'm like, did your kids eat at 6 o'clock at night? I mean, like
I'm dying.
The next day, yeah, for sure.
2024 version of, can we stop and get McDonald's? I will make you McDonald's from scratch. I'm going to research the entire recipe and make ketchup. Can we just stop at McDonald's though, actually, Mom?
No, because
we have McDonald's at home. I will show you.
Yeah.
now there is a whole online community that breaks down those secret sauces and how they make things and the bun and all this and that. But so, Katherine, get on these weird recipes from your hippie world.
Okay.
I remembered one of them, and then I just remembered two more.
Oh, God, what?
Ew, come on. I mean, there's.
Okay, well, one of them was because your husband was craving it.
Oh, no, what?
Oh,
Well, he kind of
It's his fault.
spearheaded this one, right?
Cheesecake?
Trying to do a secret blend of herbs and spices.
Oh, I do have my own version of Lowry's.
That was the other one I hadn't even gotten to.
Oh, are you talking about Eric really likes KFC? Okay, so my husband really likes KFC, but we were trying to like duplicate that in the house. And that was a whole thing. But Sarah, my daughter, was
Secret
actually
recipe. You're not
more
gonna get it.
Yeah, she was more involved in that one. But I also
how close did they get?
I think he kind of liked it, but it was not, first of all, it's not deep fried.
That's
That's the main thing.
How do you think you're even get close?
Exactly.
Whatever, if the spices are the same.
No. Deep fried is deep fried.
Yeah. I mean, not even deep fried. It's like pressure fried or something. So it's like actually injected.
It's Kentucky fried chicken, not Kentucky flavored chicken.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Okay, so that
then
should have a bad in your list of notes.
Yeah. I don't think that was a success.
But then the one that you made.
Then the one that I make, which I use for a lot of things, is a mix that I made to replace Lowry's because I wanted an organic mix. So that is onion powder, garlic powder, salt, an unprocessed salt and organic pepper. So, and that's very good.
Wait a
That
minute.
I think is good.
We should sell that. Knack is providing that on our website this week. Come check it out.
Lori's doesn't have a little paprika. I mean,
I don't
It has
need-
a little bit of red in it, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
but it does. I don't need the red.
Then
I just need the
you're
flavor
making
profile.
a seasoning salt. You're not making Lori's. No, I'm not giving you that credit.
I'd say
Either you're hacking the recipe, and because Lori's has a little bit of red tint to it, which I think,
It's paprika.
I mean, it's paprika, yeah.
if you're not adding the paprika, you just made a seasoning salt.
But it's okay. It's my substitute for Lowry's, but it's not red.
But it's not even close.
What do you? It tastes like it. Okay, whatever. All
No,
right, John,
you
is that it?
It's Catherine's Mrs. Dash. Come on. Give it
Okay.
to-
That I'll give her. Okay, that's
Oh,
fine.
Mrs. Dash. Okay. All right. So, John, is that it?
No, because remember there was the Jell-O.
Oh my God, I did make Jell-O. Okay, Jell-O was a fiasco. There were a couple missteps on the Jell-O.
Why? What were you trying to do?
You have to own up to what you were trying to do.
Yeah, I'm like,
crazy.
why even do this?
Okay, are you referring to? I'm a big fan of Zevia soda. Is that part of this story, John, that you're trying to
I
get
feel
out
like
of me?
There's two parts to it, I guess.
Okay,
So
well-
that's one part.
All right, I wanted a stevia sweetened Jell-O, not just sugar free that you could buy off of the shelf because I wanted it to be stevia. So the first thing I did was I bought unflavored Jell-O or gelatin rather,
Knox
and then
blocks.
yes, and then thinking you could just make it like regular Jell-O. How did I do this? I think I did hot water and then I poured a can of Zevia in it and it basically exploded and turned into the smelliest thing in the world. Because actually what you're supposed to do with unflavored gelatin is
add
bloom
soda.
it. No. Well, first of all, you're not supposed to add anything carbonated because that apparently is a very bad idea.
Once again, we're back to the scientists. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you're supposed to bloom unflavored gelatin because what happens is in a Jell-O mix, the sugar helps it not congeal and turn into this gross smelling thing that I made. So you're supposed to bloom it in cold water and then add the hot water, which I did successfully do the second time. And then I added packets of drink mix. And that was kind of successful.
I mean, why would that be your goal? I'm going to use lemonade drink mix to flavor this.
I don't know. What?
Well, first of all, how desperate for Jell-O were you?
And then I stopped making it because I wasn't that desperate for Jell-O, is what it
I
turned
can't
out.
believe you didn't like go syrup level on your Zevia and make like a boiled down concentrated Zevia that then you added and stirred it in. You got to get rid of the excess.
That might not have been a bad idea.
Well, one of the things that hasn't been mentioned is Catherine's desire to do this in a simple way.
Oh, yeah. I do like a throw everything together and then it's done. I mean,
that's not scientists then.
Well, that's what happened that kind of messed up the raspberry chia seed pudding that I just made because I threw it all in there and I was pretty sure I had the ratios right because I was like, oh, I think this amount of chia seeds and this amount of coconut beverage and this amount of, because John is right. I like to just like open up and use the whole package. So it was like one container of the coconut beverage, which was 32 ounces, and then one thing of organic frozen raspberries, dump that in there. This amount of chia seeds I think is going to work, and this amount of stevia I think is going to work based on other experiments. So I did that, but what happens with chia seeds is they expand, but in this case, they sink to the bottom first because it was such a big batch. And so I did have to re-stir it. They had all kind of congealed at the bottom, which was not great. And then I stirred it and they kind of came back. But then this morning when I checked on it, there was a not unsizable chunk that had really turned into like, I don't want to say a turd, but like a brick, a glob, a part of chia seed that had not dispersed into the rest of the. So it's not perfect, but I think I'm close on that one. I made some notes and I'll make some adjustments, and I think that one's going to be a real winner. So
every single thing that you've described so far sounds like, and then the next day it came alive.
It was the blob. And ate.
Started singing.
Yeah. Started to attack us. Like I said, you're not a hippie. I'm sorry. I don't know what we're going to call you, but it's not that based on your food experiments.
okay, well, all right,
Because
back
your
to
outfit is not, your music taste is not, your house is not, where you live is not. I'm sorry to do this to you.
You're wrong. Okay, so what, John? What?
Maybe if you could drive a RAV4, you would.
Oh my God.
Oh.
John, why did you do that to me? You're so mean. My
Just
husband,
cut it out.
yeah, my husband, when I drove a Prius for a long, long time, and it was sort of on its last legs.
Kind of hippie-ish.
Thank you.
Yeah, that gets a little more into it.
And my husband was like, okay, you got to give up the ghost on this Prius. It's like at some point going to die, and that's going to be a real problem. We need to replace it. And he was really lobbying for a RAV4. And for some reason, I didn't want a RAV4. And that became like a running joke in the family. Oh, mom's too good for a RAV4. I'm like, I didn't say that.
I think a hippie would have liked a RAV4.
It's just not the type of person she can't. She's just not that type of person.
Yeah. Well,
I think a hippie would like a RAV4.
Well, so anyway, he ended up getting me a different car and then got a hybrid, and then we swapped cars. So there's been a whole round robin of cars happening. But I did have to give up the Prius eventually. So
Although Sarah ended up with a RAV4 that you occasionally drive.
I do, and I like it. It's a perfectly good car. So I don't know why I was so anti-RAV4. It was a mistake on my part, but now I don't have a RAV4. So whatever. She has a RAV4. Because also he had found a really good deal on this RAV4 and was like, you should get this RAV4. Well, then I'm going to get it for Sarah. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So back to outfits. Just to like circle back. John was over once, and I don't know if you know of the company ThredUp, which is a secondhand clothing situation. And it's really cool because you can
That is a little hippie-ish.
You can find a lot of things that have been discontinued and a lot of styles that are not in stores right now. So I have gotten a lot of like drapey blouses and drapey whatever. So John happened to be over one day and a big box from ThredUp came, and I opened it and it was item after item after item of floral, drapey, hippie-looking clothing, most of which I have not worn.
Some of which were like a shawl type. They were not a shirt, right?
I do like a little shawl drapey thing. Like if I'm wearing, not usually on the podcast, but if I'm wearing like a solid color V-neck t-shirt, I might wear a little drapey shawl over it. And that becomes hippie-ish. No?
I don't know if it's that or that's just like you're a psychologist with an office in Santa Monica.
I need more chunky necklaces, I think.
I mean, when I think about someone who would like epitomize the hippie look to me, I think of one of my favorite shows, Grace and Frankie. Frankie.
Oh, yeah. Frankie's the hippie one for
played
sure.
by one of my favorites, Lily Tomlin. Although she does like Del Taco, and there's definitely things she does that are not hippie, but she definitely dresses like it. So maybe you can say you're hippie and just make crazy recipes and not dress like it, where I think she dresses like it, but she doesn't necessarily always act or eat like it. And they don't have livestock. They don't do certain things, but she's very mad. I was at Woodstock.
Yeah.
I was at, she's always that era, a very freewheeling, loving person.
Yeah.
She does peyote.
Well,
She smokes pot.
and her son's name is Coyote.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't smoke pot. You don't take part in the herbs. So
Correct.
She does all the other herbs and spices, just
That's
not
true.
the...
I do a lot of herbs and
They're
spices.
very mind altering. That MCT oil is altering your mind.
Hopefully it's really supporting my brain.
Well,
altering it.
the scientific recipes that you're going through to create these disgusting combinations.
What? They're good.
It is impacting your brain.
Whatever the brain-gut combination, you're challenging your brain-gut combination all the
that's
time.
the new science, that your gut isn't happy, neither is the rest of your body, much less your brain. I have gotten into chia seeds. I do like throwing them on stuff and putting them in stuff, but they're not good on a date. Like if you're out and you're like, oh my God, the yogurt parfait with chia seeds, you are never going to be stuck with one fucking wedged in here because it gets in there and then expands. Because it expands. So
they're weird. They really do expand.
All that stuff is weird. Like, but it's supposed to be good for you. So you're like, all right, okay, a little chia seed. But I bought the pack from Trader Joe's. I mean, I feel like I've had it for a year and I put like a teaspoon or tablespoon. I'm like, are you expanding within the packaging?
No, they're not. But I go through a lot of chia seeds. I do get the organic from Trader Joe's. That's one of my moves. I get their organic cocoa. I go through a lot of organic cocoa. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I just saw a new thing where it's like, add a scoop of chia to your just lemon water. I'm like, all right, this chia is trying to get into everything in my life. But I
Well,
like
because it's fiber and a little bit of protein.
I like that. I do the collagen in a lot of my beverages.
Sure.
I feel like there's a good combination between like a homemade little wheatgrass situation that's just the top of your chia pet guy. Like, can you get that situation?
Some
together?
microgreens.
Grow your own chia seeds, plus also shave that guy's head off. Get a little green shot.
It should be a Bob Ross head, and then you could just shave his hair, and that's your super greens and chia seed microgreens.
There is a Bob chia pet.
Yeah.
But I think one shave of his head is like one shot. Like, how often you get to grow?
So you have to have
have, like-
multiple
Wait, are
in
you
the window.
wait, but it's like alfalfa. No, what's the seed they put on there to grow?
It's chia seed.
It's chia. Wait, chia can grow like into a sprout, like in a
It's
green?
a chia seed. That's the whole thing.
Oh my God! I just learned something today. Chia. It's the chia seed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe
It
you
would
are-
be really
you're
funny
a mad scientist hippie. Okay, that's all we can say.
Just
then.
like every bald celebrity version of a chia thing, and then grow their, and then give him a cut.
Now, if you
once a
guys really
week.
know me, and if you listen to our other podcast, what we're watching, who would be my bald chia pet that I'd want?
Ooh, you would want from Family Feud.
Steve Harvey.
Yes. It would just be a mustache. It would be not a chia seed hair.
I would like a chia mustache.
stash.
Oh my God, you're right. I can't. That'd be disrespectful to make him grow hair.
No, you can't.
Oh,
You can't do
crap,
that
that
to him.
won't
Yeah.
work. Okay,
No.
never- sorry,
But the
Steve.
mustache might be enough.
Never mind. It is very bushy.
All right. On that note, I still think I'm a hippie. So,
I think it's debatable, but
I mean, based on your assessment of Grace and Frankie, I might technically not be old enough to be a true, authentic hippie.
We
so that
need
part of it.
another
but granola,
layer.
I'm granola.
we need
Right?
another layer. There needs to be another shawl or over it, and then we do need some statement necklaces.
Okay. I'll
Right?
work on it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go right back to black V-neck t-shirts.
I know the black V-neck T-shirt is like
It's just so easy. I know. It's bad. It's bad.
life is made for color, people.
Yeah.
Hippies love color. Dancing in the fields. That's what you should be doing.
Oh, well,
Getting-
then maybe I'm not a
getting
hippie.
bitten by a tick and getting Lyme disease. That's a real hippie.
No thanks.
Okay, all
Also,
right.
I don't like mosquitoes, so I feel like
Yeah, you're not a nature girl either. No, it's debatable, people. It's
Well,
debatable.
mosquitoes don't like you.
mosquitoes are my enemy. I'm
Wait,
like,
that's for another
Okay,
time.
that's
we cannot get
another-
into that
that's
because I almost just
another-
went off on a family. No, I'm going to stop it. A family camping trip, but we're going to another time.
okay, we'll do family camping trips next episode. How about
Sure,
that?
fine,
All right,
great.
great. Okay, so thank you for joining us on Family Dynamics, and you can follow us on all of our social media at Family Dynamics with a K, and you can watch our episodes on YouTube at the Knack Entertainment YouTube channel. So that's it for Family
Family
Dynamics.
Dynamics.